Welcome. We are live. Welcome to our classroom. With me is my special guest today. Her name is Ellie. She's also known as Vegan Gaze. And we have met online. Yeah, say hi to everybody.
Hello, salads.
Okay, so this is this thing she does. She calls everybody salads. And it took me a while to figure out what that meant. So lad in England is like a boy. So she calls people salads because of salad or something like that. Well, wait, what do you call the female version of salad?
They can be a salade if they would like to be. But salad, it's gender neutral, right? To be like a salad. If you're a vegan and you're great, you're just a salad. That's what it is.
Okay. Because sal in French means dirty lad, sal lad.
Wait,
never mind.
One time.
Okay, so here we are. If you guys have any questions, please feel free. I don't actually see my comments working right now, so I don't see any of your comments. But we're going to keep talking, start talking right away. And maybe my official assistant here is going to get some of the comments going. What's this show? No, that's nothing. Oh, that's something else from another show. Okay, I don't see any questions. So, Ellie, do you want to tell us why you became vegan?
Yeah, there's an echo, by the way.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay. Oh, there's our chat.
Oh, you see it? I don't see it.
Oh, it's popped up for me now.
Okay. I don't see it yet here. So Go ahead and tell us why you became vegan.
Yeah, so basically, the echo. Do you want to mute it when I'm speaking? That might work. Your mic?
So you're hearing an echo? I'm going to move my mic closer to me, I guess.
Hello.
Okay, I don't hear an echo. Okay.
That's better. Okay. So yeah, basically I was making a music video for a punk band and they had a song called Graves and it was about industrial farming. So I looked up why is the echo there?
I don't know. I don't hear it myself. Sorry.
If you press the mute button while I'm speaking, then that could solve the problem.
Yeah, that's going to be hard to do over and over again throughout.
I know. I do it all the time.
No, I don't think I'll be able to. Where is it? I can't even find the mute button.
It's in StreamYard. Look at the bottom. There's a mute button.
Oh, okay. Wait. Yes. Okay. Does anybody else hear an echo? Does anybody else hear an echo? Write it in the comments, please.
People are saying lots of echo. The echo's distracting.
Oh, okay. That's too bad. So I've never had that before. So Ellie, do you have headphones that you could maybe put on?
I'm wearing them.
Okay. So
the echo's not for me. It's for I'm hearing me back every so often.
Okay. I'm sorry, everybody. This has never happened before. So we're going to try to fix this. Okay. Well, in the meantime, is it okay if I talk?
Of course. Yeah,
okay. But or you can talk and still tell your story while we try to figure this out.
Yeah, sure. Okay. It was a punk band that making song about industrialized farming. And so I looked up the mise en scène for it. And I saw videos from the dairy industry. And I was like, oh, it just really hit me because I'd seen videos in the past when I was younger of bear biling. And that made me realize, are you familiar with bear biling? Okay, so bear biling essentially, they extract bile from the abdomens of moon bears and they put them in a cage for 20 to 30 years. And the cage is smaller than they are. It's all wiring and then they extract bile. And that made me think when I was little, I was like, we don't care about animals. There are people out there who are horrible to animals. And then seeing the dairy industry footage made me realize, oh, okay, well, we don't care about animals either. So then I just went vegan when I turned 18. And that's what set it off. And I've just been vegan ever since. So
okay. All right, sorry, I just realized I was talking there and I had the mute button on. I'm not going to remember to turn this on and off. Oh my God. But yeah, it's absolutely horrible the way that we treat animals. And that's one of the most frustrating things is that people talk about animals and they say, oh, yeah, we know how they're treated in the industry. But in reality, they really don't.
No.
They have an idea. They know that animals are killed. And they're like, well, and not until you see the important documentaries do you see how really terrible it is.
Yeah, I totally agree. Or when you go to somewhere and you see the atmosphere, you smell, the ammonia, and you see all the animals who have died before they've even been killed by us. It's just like, it's disgusting. You just think, how could this even be allowed?
It's terrible. Do you want to read the questions, Ellie?
Yeah, sure. Let's see.
There's just one written on the screen here.
Oh, sorry. What do you think of aquariums? I think that they are not right. There's a massive ocean out there. They're a wonderful home for these animals. And I understand the argument. People say, well, we want to see these animals so we can marvel at how great they are and want to protect them. But we should be teaching people to want to protect absent of how they please us. We don't need to see them physically in front of us in order to appreciate them for who they are. Just leave them, how would we when we want to punish people, we put them in the equivalent, which is a prison, and they've not done anything wrong. So why are we punishing them? Why are we restricting them? So wrong, absolutely wrong.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. There's no reason for that. And by the way, does anyone still hear an echo or is it better?
It's all sorted now for me. So
okay, it's okay. So I don't have to keep pushing this mute button. I don't know what changed, but anyway, so yeah, because one example that I often use is that so many kids know so much about dinosaurs, and yet they've never met one. They've never seen one behind bars. There is so much that we can study. And with regard to animals, we have a lot of video footage, which we don't have for dinosaurs. So we're even way, way ahead of the game. So yeah, animals in captivity is not okay. Okay, we're going to randomly be clicking here. Okay, so just go ahead and read. We're going to just randomly click whatever's going on. We're going to deal with it. Okay.
Okay. Someone said, hello, moderators. How do I become a moderator? I guess you become one by... How do you become one, Miss Katie?
You become a moderator by proving that you know about the animals and that you follow my philosophy. If you are against eating animals and you're against drinking any fluids that come from animals, stealing from animals, abusing them or using them in any way, if you don't wear fur, if you don't wear wool, and if you don't wear leather, if you don't steal honey from bees and you don't ride horses, then you can become a moderator. So there's quite a lot of criteria there. You really have to be like at, I don't know, I was going to say top level vegan, but you just basically have to do your best at all times to not hurt animals. And if you understand my philosophy, then I invite you to be a moderator to help educate others. Moderators are like teaching assistants in my channel here. So they are dropping comments constantly saying, don't forget, buy soy milk instead of cow's milk. Or, don't forget, vegans don't eat honey. Instead, they might eat maple syrup. So as long as moderators are showing me that they're educating people, then I make them moderators as long as they understand. It doesn't matter actually how old you are. I have moderators who are as young as 13 because they totally understand what's going on and they're great. And of course, please, moderators, do not block people. Today, usually if there's a premiere, we put people in timeout so that people can have some sort of a conversation and be educated. But this is specifically a question and answer. So we want to get some comments out there. So again, I'm going to just randomly click on something and hopefully it's something that's important. Okay, so this has nothing to do with anything, or does it? No. You can give me
The thing is, you get skinny, right? There's so much that lacks context in this comment. If you get slimmer, you lose weight. There's some things that go into it, but essentially from lack of calories. Now, a lot of the time, plants are less calorie dense, so you might have to eat more. Yeah, that's just the case. If you don't eat enough, you're going to lose weight. That is the case. So just eat more.
Exactly. Eat lots of calories. Yeah. Speaking of eating, I have a banana. I'm going to eat. Do you open your bananas at this end or at this end?
Second, the
second.
The latter. Yeah.
Yeah. You open them here?
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes they don't open as easily, but yeah, here we go. Do you have any snacks, Ellie?
I don't have any snacks right now because I ate my chocolate. I ate it.
You ate it. What do you have there? Show me the wrapper.
It's a Nomo caramel bar. It's got like caramel inside. They're very nice. So
Is that a thing specific to the UK?
I think so. It's really good.
Okay. Oh, I really love caramel. All right. Is Bella still on taurine energy supplements? If she is, look up her taurine. No, she's never been on taurine supplements, actually. She just eats regular vegan dog food that I buy from a bag, in a big bag. And I just scoop it out and I give it to her. That's it. It's very easy. I'll show you her dog food. Hold on. It's actually, it's not in the original bag. Oh no, I just took it out and she just jumped off. She just jumped off the couch. She's like, are we eating? Oh, Bella. So yeah, now I'm going to have to give her some. Yeah, this is what it looks like. That's it. It's just regular dog food, except it has no dead animals in it. Bella, you want to come in here?
I want to make a comment about that, actually.
Yeah?
I see so many comments. By the way, guys, like brilliant example, right? When people talk to vegans of having an opinion and not forming one. When you ask people, okay, well, they say it's going to kill a dog. It's like, okay, based upon what? If you look up an example, the Lithuania study on plant-based diets for dogs, they conclude that a plant-based diet is suitable for dogs. There's no real difference between the health outcomes. And in fact, the health outcomes for dogs with allergies can be really positive because there's a lot in dog kibble that isn't healthy. Dogs have a lot of intolerances. People seem to think they can eat a lot of foods that they cannot eat. Just actually check before you make claims about, whether or not someone's doing something unhealthy. Because I bet you as well that you probably feed your dog something they shouldn't be having. Like gluten, exactly. Gluten's not good. Onions, garlic, avocados, chocolate. There's loads of things. So just check before you make statements because it's a bit silly.
So Bella has been vegan since August 2017. So she's coming up this summer to 4 years of eating plant-based foods, and she's normal. She's completely fine. And people have petitions that have signed like 50,000 signatures to try to have her removed because I'm not murdering other animals to give to her.
It's just ridiculous. It really is. And this
it's crazy. And you could imagine, I could sort of see it almost like if I just suddenly was the first person on earth who decided that their dog would be vegan and all I fed her was celery, I could see that they might be worried. But there are literally thousands upon thousands of vegan dogs in the world, and people still freak out. You'll probably see in the comments, people are going to be like, save Bella and, call the police, have her arrested. It's incredible. I'm hoping that over time, when I started on TikTok, that's what people were doing, just freaking out. But it's because a lot of these people are just kids. They just don't know. And also parents who told their kids, oh my God, that vegan teacher's abusing her dog. Crazy. Anyway, let me just give her some of this over there, and you go ahead and chat while I'm gone. I'll be right back.
Hello. But no, the literature supports a plant-based diet for dogs. So if you think otherwise, you're just silly. All right, look into the literature. Salad. Hello. Your parents don't. I can understand that. Okay, it's difficult when you're a kid and someone else is in charge of your, your spending habits. Not just what you're putting in your mouth, but also the other sorts of products that you're consuming. So I get it. Do you like veggie sticks? Got to be in the mood for a good vegetable or two. I'm a bit of a junk food vegan. I'm not like whole food plant-based like that vegan teacher, all right? I've got to admit
that's because I'm 56 and I got to, I can't afford to eat all this junk. I eat pretty well now. Yeah. I used to, not at the beginning, but
yeah, I'm going to get better. I swear. Just one day. I saw a comment, by the way. I was wondering if we could pick at that one.
Okay. Which one?
It's not come up yet, but Alexis Mireless says, vegan gays, what do you think animals' lives matter more than humans? And I want to just address that, if that's okay.
Okay, go ahead. I can't find it because there's so many. I'd have to scroll for a long time, but just go ahead and address that.
Okay, yeah. So basically, no, I don't. When I put it in a scenario, so basically I put it in a burning building situation of like who I would save, and my bias would be towards saving a human being. I know some vegans may care about animals more than humans, or may think that every single one of them is equal or whatever. But I think that's the wrong question. It's irrelevant whether or not you put one on a certain, pedestal above another. It's that the threshold ought be that you don't deem that like one is suitable to have their like head bolt gunned or their throat slit or be gassed alive, or exploited. So it's like that's an irrelevant question of who I value more. It's just that I don't think any of them should be killed or exploited.
Right. And that's where people started attacking me on TikTok, because they would ask me these questions. And of course, again, you have such a short time to answer it in. And sometimes if I got asked the question 100 times, I became somewhat impatient and I just sort of said, whatever. So what I was saying is I said, well, I need more information. How old is the cow? How old is the child? Or how old is the person? Like if you have a 90-year-old person who murdered people in World War II versus, a brand new baby cow who's never going to hurt anybody, I'm not necessarily always going to choose the human over the animal. That's me. Not like you, I guess.
But I mean, to be fair, if there are nuances to it. If I found out that they'd done some heinous things, it would change my mind. And, there are some humans who I would pick over others. Like, if there were an infant, in there, I would save them over like an adult. There are factors that come into it. But the fact that people are asking, it's weird to me that people don't think that we can care about multiple groups simultaneously. It's a bit of a worry to me. Like,
exactly. And one, of course, is there's a burning building and you have no time to react. You're just running in. Like, am I going to pick up? You're going to pick up the infant also because the infant is just easier to carry than an adult.
True, yeah.
You're going to probably like burn yourself or whatever. Like, there's multiple things involved, and like Ellie said, basically we don't want to kill anybody, and there's no reason to.
Yeah,
there are plants to eat. Like 15,000 edible plants on the planet. So people always come up with these crazy extremes. So you want to read this one?
Is being vegan and being environmentalist the same, similar? So it's when you are vegan, you are doing something that's beneficial to the environment or less harmful to the environment. You could be like a vegan who's not necessarily environmentalist. You could just waste loads and just not care about the planet and however, if someone's an environmentalist and they're not vegan, they are contributing to such a massive contributor to climate change, to deforestation, to ocean dead zones. So it's like it doesn't make sense. You're not a very good one if you're not vegan. I hope that answers the question.
And what do you think about, that's what I found frustrating when I went to some of these protests before TikTok and everything with Extinction Rebellion, and I would talk to them and they would be eating dead animals. It's like, guys, what's going on? Like because it's easier to complain and yell at the government than it is to actually, when you go out in the middle of your protest, to go and get a coffee and, oh, now I have to have soy milk instead of cow milk. Oh no. I'm not willing to do that, but let's go yell at the government about how they're ruining the planet.
Yeah, it's like people want to virtue signal that they're a good person rather than actually be a good person. It's really easy to point fingers at someone who you have like no control over. We don't have control over the system, but as you say, we have control over what we put in our milk. In our coffee rather, we have control over that, and people don't want to pick that when they have the option. So I think that's very telling of who they are and what their intentions are. So you just need to give them a bit of a nudge.
Here's one. You're going to be the official reader, okay, Ellie?
Okay. There is a Facebook group called Vegan Dog Nutrition. It's a support group and people share pictures. It's cute. Oh. You have a super chat, by the way.
Okay, there's a super chat. I don't know how to do it. I'm supposed to click on it. Is that? Oh, you guys see that? Do you see the message pop up?
I don't.
It says, "Thank you both for everything you both do for the animals." Thank you. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. We're trying, right?
Yeah, just try. I just can't I can't stop myself. I've tried many a time actually, just I've just thought, you know what? Should I just not care and just do other things? Because people are like, oh, get a hobby. Like, And I have other hobbies, but I just can't stop myself from like
I
can't
know
help
what,
it.
that's really interesting you said that, because when I turned 50, I had sort of a crisis where I said, okay, I got to stop caring because I'm too unhappy, you know? And because then I was vegetarian and caring about the planet and everything. And then I said, I tried to not care. I actually tried. I'm like, oh, fuck it. I'm just going to not give a shit. And that lasted not long because I hated myself. And I just not, it's not in me. So I became the opposite. I just rolled up my sleeve and became full out vegan animal rights activist.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
just some I think for some people they're just driven to just moan about something that's bigger, you know what I mean? And I'm one of those people. I just can't, like, if I see like bad things happening, I just can't shut up.
Yeah.
So
when people tell me to get a hobby or get a life, it's like, what kind of a life would you prefer that I get, rather than spending all my spare time trying to stop suffering? There's
one way
so
you don't make them
much
uncomfortable.
I mean,
That's what it is.
I just can barely, I find it really hard to just function knowing how much suffering there is. So I'm compelled to talk about it and get there to be less. And a big driving force in me is the fact that I just harmed animals for so many years just by eating them. I mean, how can I ever make up for that? I can't even break even if I work for the rest of my life to defend them, unless I happen to create a whole bunch of other vegans who then create other vegans and so on. And one of the greatest stories, the most fun thing, is that I did manage with one teacher. So I'm trying to click on this super chat here. Thank you. Is that 3C Sab Tree, Ellie?
Oh yeah, 3 Counties Hunt Sabs. Are you familiar with hunt saboteurs in the UK?
Yes, good for them.
Yeah, so I did a few hunt sab like events.
Tell people.
Yeah, so basically in the UK especially, there's the badger cull and there is fox hunting. Fox hunting is technically illegal, but there are loopholes that they can get through in order to get away with doing it. And badger culling is essentially done because, and this is what makes me laugh when people want to be like, but crop deaths and all this stuff. They forget about, you know, that we have to feed all of these animals who we farm, and then we end up killing animals like badgers on behalf of the animals to protect them, because the badgers are blamed for the spread of bovine tuberculosis, because it's a zoonotic disease between them. So yeah, they're killed, and we don't want them to kill animals. Like, I think the badger is our biggest predator left in the UK. We've killed them all off. You know, we used to have so many more. But yeah, those are what hunt sabs typically are against. But there are other things that
yeah. So thank you again to Gawain. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right.
Thanks, Gawain. Yeah.
Yeah, really appreciate your helpful comments and your encouragement and your donations. And I wish that I could spend one-on-one time with everybody who is so kind, but it's truly touching. It really is. And just so you know, every time there's a donation like that, in my head, when I buy something, I think, okay, this is a gift from Gawain. So I'm like putting some bananas and blueberries in my shopping cart. I'm like, this is from my friend Gawain. So
I think of it in terms of beans.
Yeah, beans too. Beans, tofu, whatever. I recently got a microphone, which was really great. So, all right, let's have a look here. Something else. So the service dogs.
You have another super chat, by the way.
Another one?
Yeah, from Maurice Tube, but it's
I don't see that.
If you keep scrolling down, you might see it. It just won't pop up as big because it's like a $2 donation.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't see it, but thank you. Oh, there it is. Thank you. So how are we going to balance the population?
I'm kind of perplexed by the comments, so I'm just going to assume you mean like animals, right? Because if you do, then they're only here because we breed them into existence. We breed about, upwards of 70 billion land animals. They're artificially inseminated. We bring them into existence. They're selectively bred, so some of them wouldn't even be able to naturally, mate out in the wild. Like we've messed them up that much. So it's a simple case of, less people consume them. They don't get the lobbying and the subsidies before, so they breed less, and then we have less of them.
Yeah, it's not that we're going to suddenly start having a vegan world and kill off a bunch of animals in one shot. We're just talking about a gradual society that stops breeding them into existence, which is really raping them. I mean, it's sexual assault. It's totally not okay. It's really creepy and disgusting. We have no business touching animals in that way. And that happens in all of these industries, in the dairy industry, in the poultry industry, with pigs. I mean, it's not right. So yeah, but these are interesting questions, and so I understand that you're interested in knowing the answers. Let me see, what's this here? Sorry, I think I accidentally took off one comment before, and I can't remember what it was. Do you remember, Ellie?
I'm sorry.
I know it was an ethical question. I'm just trying to remember. Anyway, my parents don't want me to be vegan. What should I do? Because they don't want to make different food.
I find this really difficult to answer, because it is difficult when you're not in charge, and obviously, your home life is very personal, and as you said, you've heard like some horrible stories about what happens when.
Yeah, I mean, there's vegan phobia in families. That's really sad. I mean, kids that have written to me and told me that, they're like even 15 years old, 13 years old, they don't want to eat the meat in front of them, and their dads have smacked them in the head and they've fallen off the chair. Like, it's excruciatingly sad. And so when you say that vegan phobia isn't real, it's definitely real. And it happens with parents and their own kids. If you have a child who's trying to be vegan, please support them. And the word for that is being vegan fantastic. It's the opposite of vegan phobic. It means that you're going to try as hard as you can to help them in their journey. And ideally, you become vegan yourself. That's ideal. That's the perfect parent who sees their kid who wants to stop saving animals, and they reach out and they give them a giant hug and they say, "You are amazing. I am so proud of you. You have a giant heart." And then you go shopping together. And you put in your shopping cart veggies, fruits, nuts, and seeds. Put them in your shopping cart, because peace begins on your plate. So open up your heart. That's what I tell people.
And even if you can't, these situations where it just physically you can't, right? You have something that restricts you. It's a mindset, that you can encourage people. If you see people, just kind of normalizing the abuse of animals, then you can challenge that. Like, a lot of the time, you ask people questions and they're like, "Oh, I've never thought about that before. I've never had to consider animals." And it's true. Nobody's challenged, and they don't like it when they are.
Right, they don't. And so it's normal that you have been educating yourself here by watching this channel, and I don't know where else you're getting your clicks from. I would be really interested. Also, your age matters. If you're somebody who's 12 versus somebody who's 17, you can also the first thing is you have to think of your parents. They just want you to be healthy, and they just don't want their life to be more of a hassle. So you don't say, "I want to be vegan," and then you don't eat what they're putting on your plate. I mean, in terms of all the vegetables, if you're having vegetables and pasta and rice and tofu, all of these things, you can eat them. Don't say, "Oh, I'm not going to eat this, I'm not going to eat that," because then your parents are going to be worried. So the first thing you got to do is just like say, "Okay, my taste buds, not as important," because we're talking about the lives of animals here. That's what's important. So you got to show your parents that you're brave and that you're tough and that you're willing to sacrifice. But having said that, there's so many delicious vegan meals. So just go shopping with your parents and just show them some things. A good way to start is there are these pre-made meat substitutes. You buy them in a package frozen. Just throw that in a frying pan with a bunch of vegetables. It's really not that different. When I became vegan, that's what somebody did for me. How I became vegan is I just said, "I want to be vegan," and I don't have any friends who wants to be my friend. I literally wrote that in a Facebook group. I said, "I have no vegan friends." And this teacher came and reached out and she said, "I'll be your friend." And I said, "Can you just tell me what to cook? I have no idea where to start." Because you're so used to putting cheese on everything and butter on everything and eggs every morning. It was like, oh my God. So she made me this big tofu scramble with turmeric, and onion and spices, and it was so good. And then she got this Gardein. I don't know if you guys have that brand there, but it's frozen fake pork or something.
We have some. I think I don't eat it though. But yeah.
Yeah, but she put this with some sort of whatever the sauce was in with a bunch of rice and a bunch of veggies, and it was very good because it had a lot of the salt and the oil. But then after a while, I realized, okay, this stuff is not really healthy for me because it's not whole foods. It's more like sort of a junk food kind of thing. But Beyond Burgers do have 20 grams of protein in them. And actually, I'll show you. I have them. Now, this is not something that we eat all the time, but this is a Beyond Burger. So 20 grams of protein for each patty. You just fry them up and put them in a burger, in a bun, with all the regular stuff. Vegan mayo, of course. Oh, I'll show you my vegan mayo. Where is it? Now, this is the kind that we have, and I know people have said that this company is owned by a bigger company, which is a big, bad company. But the reality is, I feel like as long as I'm supporting vegan products, it's better than not. And yeah, there might be some companies that are actually vegan companies, and so those are the better ones. So I suggest you go find those. But if this is all you see in your store, get this. It's super zingy. It has a great flavor. I could just eat it by the spoonful, honestly. And yeah, so this just is a great way to start. And don't eat these kinds of things that often. Try to make whole foods, big meals, big giant pots of lentils and beans and rice with all kinds of spices.
Yeah, and it's like there's Amy Ranson says, it's a question to us. What would you say to an autistic person who couldn't go vegan? Many autistic people can't because of their sensory issues and other problems that isn't their fault. And that encompasses what I just said about, people who don't have the, choice, or there's something, they're not neurotypical. So there's an obstacle in that sense. But the thing is, if you are neurotypical, or you have, maybe you do have a condition, but there's no relevant difference that then justifies, in your case, not making that change. You have more of an obligation to make that change. The thing is, in the future, there will still be autistic people with sensory issues, but sometimes they can only eat a certain brand of chicken nuggets or something like that. But in the future, it'll be vegan chicken nuggets. So this, as we say, it's not a problem that overnight every situation's going to be sorted. So I'd say those of you who aren't, you have more of an obligation to pave the way for people who have those difficulties. And yeah, that's what I'd say.
Mm-hmm. So I remembered what I was talking about before. Somebody was asking, or what was asked before was about service dogs. Where do you stand on service dogs?
So I don't know much about alternatives, but I would walk towards alternatives, because I wouldn't see the relevant difference. I'd want someone to ask what the relevant difference is that justifies, committing them to something they didn't consent to. I think there is a conversation to be had about relationships between animals and humans and how they can work in harmony. Unfortunately, when it comes to dogs, we breed them into existence. When you do have a look at how they go about finding the service dogs, they end up dumping a lot who just didn't make the test. So there's a lot of problems within it. I think maybe we could have a conversation like later on, when we're not commodifying, when we're not seeing animals as objects, for our use. Maybe we could talk about, because it's absolutely the case that, when we look after animals, there is this, you watch videos of animals having, brilliant relationships with human beings. So it's like, okay, well, you don't want to restrict that completely necessarily, but we need to make the world safe for them. We can't be, we're too much of a danger to animals at this point to be, and these nuances, like, I don't get caught up on too much, because it's like, well, we're still bolt gunning animals in the head for a sandwich filler.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like basically, if you want a quick answer, it's we shouldn't be using animals. That's the quick answer. But the other answer is, well, let's begin. Let's not even look at that yet, because there's so few animals being used as service animals. Let's look at the billions and billions of animals that we breed into existence that are in captivity, crying, sad, afraid, lonely, living and dying in their own shit and piss, put on trucks for days, having their throats slit, put in gas chambers. Let's talk about that first. People always go to these extremes and talk about this last thing. These are the things we're going to deal with later on down the road. these are not the priorities. Let's talk about the animals that we do testing on, the beagles that we shove poisons in their eyes and we shove tubes down their throat and all kinds of shampoos and insane things that we do to animals. It's barbaric. And if you don't know, you can watch a video that was narrated by Joaquin Phoenix, and it's called ITR Labs or something like that. It was filmed here in Quebec, close to where I live. There is a lab that this was filmed, and it is excruciating knowing that there are thousands of animals in there that they burn. They put products on them and they burn their skin to test things. And when the animals try to fight and don't comply, of course they smack them and hit them. It is horrific. We need to stop animal exploitation. Buy products that are not tested on animals. And it's even hard to find them. But see, to me, the least that we can do, I mean, this is the least. Be vegan and be an animal rights activist. Because even when you're vegan and even when you're an animal rights activist, you are still part of this society that hurts these animals, even if you try not to. But if everyone was vegan and everyone was an animal rights activist, we would be so much closer. And people would try to find other ways to test everything. You know, the vaccines and these products, we would find the way. And we would find the way to do vertical farming. When we plow the fields, we would find ways to harm the least amount of animals. We would just do it, because where there's a will, there's a way. We need to open up our hearts. We don't need more smart people on this planet. We need more people who are kind, compassionate, who have empathy, who can feel for others. That's what we need. And to answer Jay Scott, actually, do you want to read his question?
Miss Katie, I'm the only vegan in my family and they're very stubborn and don't want to learn. I don't know if you've been in this situation, but you know how I could reach out to them. Do you want me to answer that first? Contextually, it's very difficult, you know, when you have a structure that's so close, and that's oftentimes why you'll find people who then advocate and reach out to strangers. It's sometimes due to the relationship that you have with someone. They don't wish to be educated by you, because being educated by you conveys that they're below you, which is not the case. You know, we can all learn from each other. So I would say if it's just not working, then, you know, you just advocate to strangers, advocate to other people, because you never know, they could then influence them. It doesn't ultimately matter to the animal who's paying for their killing, you know. So just advocate. That's what I'd say.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for the donation, Maurice. They can breed and learn and adapt in the future. Yes. I don't know if I'm missing some things. I'm so sorry, guys. But I did get something about from Vegan Cat about you've been veg for a year this past Tuesday. So happy Vegan Declaration Day to you. That's what I call the day that you declare that you're vegan. So maybe your happy Vegan Declaration Day was like a week ago. So then we can sing you the song. We can sing. I'm not going to sing today, but I have a song that I used to sing on TikTok, which is that basically, congratulations. And thank you for helping the animals. Some people have been vegan for a year, some 2 years, some whatever, some just a minute. If you declare right now that you're going to be vegan, just maybe this is the inspiration you need. And you just decide from now on, I am not buying any more animal products. No leather, no fur, no wool. I'm not going to ride horses anymore. I am not going to buy honey anymore. I am not going to buy meat, dairy, or eggs. You can do it right now. And if you set your timer for a minute, then we can sing the song. Happy Vegan Declaration Day. You've been vegan for a minute. 5 minutes later, you've been vegan for 5 minutes. In a day, congratulations. You've been vegan for 1 day. And it just starts like that. Just hang on. And when you have a craving to eat some food because you're thinking, oh, I don't know what to eat, the best thing I can say is eat calorie-dense things. Go and buy yourself every type of nut that you see in the store. I mean, think about how many different types of nuts there are. Just off the top of your head, you can probably think of 5 different varieties. Buy a giant bag of dates, a giant bag of figs, and a giant bag of raisins, and combine them all together. On top of that, in your bag, dump a whole bunch of pumpkin seeds and a whole bunch of sunflower seeds and some hemp seeds. Now you take a giant spoon, and when you're hungry, you have this with you. It's not going to go bad because it is all foods that are okay at room temperature. Scoop it up, shove a big mouthful in, have a big can of water beside you, and eat that. And just eat and eat. 2-3 spoonsful, 5 if you need, whatever it takes. Then once you're full, especially if you drink a lot of water with it, you can have that full feeling and be like, okay, I can do this. And you won't be telling yourself lies like, oh, I gotta get a burger, or oh, I absolutely am dying unless I eat fish, because that's all in your head. Get the calorie-dense foods into your stomach to get over that hump. I'm telling you it works. And you can be vegan for 5 minutes, a day, a week, a month, a year, or like me, coming up to 5 years. And that's how I did it. I just decided I don't want to steal. I don't know if you guys ever thought about it this way, or did you, Ellie, that it's really like we are taught not to steal. Like good people just don't go around stealing stuff, right? So do you want to be a thief, or do you want to be a kind person? If you don't want to be a thief, stop stealing from animals. They have one thing, their life.
Mm-hmm. And their autonomy, and it's taken.
Yeah, their body.
Everything.
Yeah, don't take it. Don't shove them in places. Don't put them behind bars. Don't ride them. Don't take their milk. Don't take their babies. Like none of it.
Yeah, my declaration day is June 13th, and it will be 7 years this year.
Oh,
wow. So, and I'm still alive.
You're still alive.
I should have like disintegrated, dissolved into out of existence by now, but apparently I'm still here. What are you gonna do?
All right.
Do you want me to read this?
Yeah.
I'm making a song about veganism called Silence in the House. Oh, you're inspiring the songs.
Yeah, veganism called Silence in the House. That's interesting. I wonder what that's going to be about. Why is there silence in the house?
Probably like an awkward one.
Yeah, maybe an awkward silence.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I'm writing a song that's going to have interchangeable lyrics. It's like a rap song, and I'm going to dedicate it to all the absolute vegan phobic carnists in the world, like Gordon Ramsay. And he's going to get a version, and then I'm going to recycle that song by taking out his name. I'm putting somebody else's name in there because it's worded. I worked it out. I've been working on it for days and days, actually, in such a way that it's reusable. And so I'm going to dedicate this song to whoever needs to hear it. So I need people who can edit videos. That's what I want. Actually, Ellie, maybe you could help me with that. I meant to ask you that.
I can edit videos.
You can?
Yeah, I can.
I know you're good at that. So what I want to do is I want to take the song, which is, standard 3.5 minute song. It's not like a TikTok thing. And I want to put the footage of animals in there, like listening to the words and the appropriate footage of, what the pigs go through and things like that. And so I want to be able to review this song on my YouTube channel and to help teach people. So it'd have to have a little bit from each industry. And anyway, yeah. Okay. I'd like to also have the lyrics on the screen, I think. I think that's important because
yeah,
people, definitely. Yeah. All right. So let's have a look here. Some more. Anything else here?
I saw quite a few times the personal choice thing, but do you want us to address this one first?
Let's go to the personal choice one. Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to know, right, unless you believe in certain types of, I don't know, determinism or whatever, everything is a personal choice, people, okay? Right? Everything, okay? If you choose, you'll be like, vegans, it's a choice. Yeah, it's a personal choice. It's like, okay, great. Thank you for the information. I didn't know that I was choosing. But the thing is, everything is a choice. You can choose to kill people. You could choose to, like, beat someone's dog. You could choose to steal from someone. There are good, neutral, and bad choices, all right? If you are paying for animals to be exploited and killed, that is a bad choice when you could avoid doing so. Okay, so I don't know why people say these kind of descriptive claims about, oh, it's a choice. Thank you. That's told me nothing. We're talking about what we ought do. Okay? So, yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I agree. You want to read this one?
Yeah. Should we hunt animals? No. I wish I could remember the source, but there was this journal on how if we all started, people were like, well, let's go back to the days of hunting, that we would wipe out the ecosystem, like all the ecosystems within like a matter of days. It's not sustainable, like people want to say.
Because we breed animals into existence right now, we become so dependent on their flesh.
Yeah.
That we would just completely wipe everything out.
Yeah, as much as I absolutely like hate these places, they are the most efficient method of like commodifying animals. Just lumping them into these small tight spaces and then like churning them out as corpses. That is the most efficient method. And they ought be granted like basic value to their own lives. People be like, oh well, they're gonna die anyway. Well, so are we. Like, what's the relevant difference that justifies you killing them when you could have just avoided it and eaten plants?
Yeah.
So
also the most efficient way to destroy the ecosystem by putting these animals in these buildings and the pollution involved with the whole industry. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, like, granted, there are some fresh problems that come with these areas, like where you've got concentrated, like, organic waste, that, creating ocean dead zones. So these are a problem of these confined industrialized farms. But it's efficient in different reasons, but it's still not efficient at all when you look at it, because we have to feed these animals, we have to home these animals, or are we really homing them? And make space for them. So it's just not efficient at all.
Yeah. So this one is about posting recipes. And yeah, I've thought about it. And I just feel like I have no time because I'm so busy right now teaching the ethics of why not to eat animals. And, I'm still trying to do some TikTok videos. I'm still trying on occasion to put things on Instagram. I still really have a Twitter account. I barely have time to do that. Just trying to live my life. And it's just one more thing that I haven't gotten around to. And so what I try to do is refer people in my link to, and I should put some more down there. Actually, I don't know if I put Rainbow Plant Life, but I'm just going to check after and make sure it's in there, because I do have Avant-Garde Vegan. So these are 2 ethical vegan chefs that I recommend. So you can check down there. And if I didn't put Rainbow Plant Life, make sure you go to her as well. So I have one guy, one girl, male, female, and they're both ethical vegans, and they have great recipes. Yeah.
I keep seeing this thing about plants, and I am so upset that biology failed every single one of you. Okay, like, I would talk to your biology teacher and just tell them off, right? Like, yes, granted, plants are alive, but that's the distinction we need to discuss. They aren't sentient. Sentient means that the ability to perceive, awareness. You can sense things like through pain receptors. Plants do not have a central nervous system. There'd be no point for them to, because they can't escape danger anyway. Yes, they react to stimuli, but so does a calculator, so does a phone. That's the traits aren't present enough to determine that they're sentient, but animals are. That's the consensus on them. So there's a complete different. You can say plants are alive, so like that doesn't mean anything. They don't have the capacity to be harmed like an animal does. So, and even, can I just say, even if you are a plants rights activist, you still ought to be vegan, all right? Because we have to feed these 70 billion land animals plants. So there's this thing called the trophic pyramid. As you work up, more resources are required and it becomes less efficient. Okay, so once you start including animals to exploit, you're using more and more resources, so more and more crops. So if you really care about the lives of plants, you still ought to be vegan. It's a really null argument.
Exactly.
And I see it all of the time, and it just...
That's the one that people, when they hear it, they're kind of stunned. Like when you tell them, oh, you believe that plants have feelings? Well, then stop eating animals. Yeah, because you feed so many. It's not just like you feed those, you feed like an abundance, like multiple times more to grow a cow. So
it's the birding. I'm like, the birding building situation that I referred to earlier. It's like, I'm like, honestly, are you telling me that if you saw a building but on fire and there was a pot plant and a person or a dog, you'd be like, oh, I don't know who to save. I'm stuck.
I know, it would have to think a long time whether you're going to save the plant.
Like, oh, I just,
Or you're gonna
really
say
stuck.
the
Like, what
yeah.
about their feelings? It's like, oh, please, come on. Any
It's so-
justification for nonsense.
It's really crazy that they say that. Like, I just don't get it. Like at first when people were saying stuff like that, like plants have feeling, like this one, plants don't feel, like I actually had to write it on a shirt. And even still on my TikTok, listen to this, 5 million people duetted my video with this. 5 million people where I was singing, plants don't feel pain, they don't have a brain, they don't have a nervous system, so it's okay to bite into them. You have a heart, you know where to start. Sing this song and be vegan from now on. Okay, I sang that song. And then I said, plants don't feel pain, they don't have a brain. So you know what people did? They took a snippet of it. They took the 5 seconds as a stitch. So for those of you who don't know TikTok, you can take it off. So they say, plants don't feel pain. And they ended it with, this girl is on cocaine. And that was their thing. Okay? So they're basically teaching each other, a bunch of 11, 12, and 13-year-olds. And not only that, adults were doing this duet. Like it became just a joke.
Oh my God. It's like adults have no excuse. They should know at this point.
But the thing is, first of all, I don't even know if half of these kids know what cocaine is. But anyway, they were singing this song and they thought it was a big joke. It just became this big thing to do, duets and stitches. And so it's like saying, but what they're saying is, here I'm making a completely true statement. Plants don't feel pain. And their response is, anyone who says this must be on drugs. Like this is their idea of a complete package, to take this sentence and put it. I mean, like 5 million people were alluding to this idea that somebody who says that plants feel pain, that plants don't feel pain, is crazy. I don't know.
When you feed their arguments back to them, they're like, are you ridiculous? Like, it's just like, no, you said that. All right. If we're following your logic, you said that. Like, it's amazing. Oh, there's just so many. It just hurts every single day. I weep for humanity. Everyone's like, what's the hardest thing about becoming vegan? Let me tell you, non-vegans. They're the hardest thing. Repeating yourself every single day, perpetually, until your voice box just dies. Okay, it's just. Oh, I weep.
Hold on, I'm just gonna fix up my camera here. It just got bumped a bit. Sorry about that. Is that okay? All right. There we go. Yeah. So let's I don't know if there's anything else that I might have missed here. What's this? Farming needs so much resources. Do some research. I guess that means do some research. Yeah. People are just right. They're having their own little chat there. Everybody's just doing their own thing in the comment section. So let's see here. You want to read this one? I tried grabbing one that had a lot of words. I don't know what it is.
I actually became vegan because of vegan gays. Oh, that's oh yeah. And then started to follow more vegans. She actually made tons of sense, and it's so intelligent. And goes, okay, now everyone say something mean, okay? Because
oh, come on, we want to see you blush.
No. But I'm glad. Oh, thank you so much. It's nice because you don't really know the effect. The thing is, people forget that when you have a conversation with someone, the conversation doesn't end when you stop speaking.
That's right.
People are going to constantly be thinking about these things that you've told them, especially when they get defensive. So it's like, oh, you're going to be thinking about this later, aren't you? So you really don't understand the number of people who you've affected, and this can be for anything, So it's just important to be spreading a message and hold it consistently and just stick to your guns with it, because you don't know who you're going to influence. They could tell someone else and be like, oh, I just spoke to this total silly goose, right? And they told me that like we should care about animals, and someone be like, actually, that's a good idea. I care about them, So you don't know. And
this is so great to a meme, also because a meme might end up being an animal rights activist, which has the domino effect. So you've not just helped that one person, it's just so great. So please, to everybody, have an open mind and keep doing your activism. If you're just a new vegan, never stop. Talk about it all the time. Wear shirts like this, do talks on YouTube, put out all the TikTok videos. Every little bit helps.
You want to be that vegan. When they're like, oh, you're not that vegan, are you? I'm like, honey, yes. I am that vegan. Sorry.
I didn't start off thinking I was going to be this annoying vegan, but yet here I am.
Yep, here I am. Sorry. Deal with it. Yeah.
So that vegan teacher, you should go bald. I think it would look pretty on you. Well, I might go bald one day. Maybe all my hair is going to fall out. I am vegan, and apparently we're always sick. So
yeah, I constantly diet, and it's not falling out yet. I'm actually very disappointed. I was told that my hair was going to fall out, that that I would just disintegrate, and none of this has happened. Really upset about that. So that's why I went vegan. Actually, like, screw the animals. Like, who cares about animals? Obviously, like, none of you do. Ridiculous, right? But yeah. Read
it out loud.
You want me to read this? Sorry. So happy VG helped you, but thank you for letting her know. Most of the time we don't know what effect we may have on others. I'm sure it's great for her to know. Yeah, exactly. It really is, because people come along and be like, shut up. Well, there's loads in this. They just come along, shut up. Nobody cares. You're not making a difference. And sometimes it can feel that way. You start feeling like, oh, should I shut up? Like, am I too annoying? So when people actually come along and they're actually affected positively, and they've implemented changes in their life because of something you've said, it's just like, oh, thank you. I shall continue. So yeah, that is really good. Thank you for telling me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's great. All right, let's see. Here's something.
Do you get messages like all the time? Like, you made me vegan?
Yeah, it's great. It's so awesome. I especially love the ones that say, I used to hate you. I used to say, I used to post all these meat emojis, and you were annoying. And then I kept listening. And then I kind of thought, oh, she's not so annoying. And then I kind of started liking you. And now I'm vegan. It's like, oops, okay.
Didn't see that one coming, did you? Yeah, it is good.
Because it's good because people, if you just stick around, you'll realize that we're not your enemy. We just want to save animals, and we're all just doing the best we can with the skills we have.
Mm-hmm. I would like to privately talk to that vegan teacher. Is it possible? I would like to discuss some things about veganism. That's for you.
Yeah, the answer honestly is no. I'm sorry. I mean, it sounds really mean, but the reality is I have a list of Instagram messages that are so long. I have 1,000 in there, and every once in a while I just delete the whole bunch. I cannot possibly keep up, because my main thing is to do activism and the most effectively as possible. So if you have a specific video that you've done, that's a good way to get my attention. Make a 7-minute video. Talk about the animals. And if it's on YouTube and you tag me and I find it, then I can give you a report card. That's the best way that you can help. And if you want to talk about things that are vegan, I urge you to keep watching this channel and watch Vegan Gaze, watch Ellie, watch all the other channels. You will learn. Right? You will. So I'm not saying, I mean, if you really, really, really want to contact me, you'll find a way. But I'm sorry, I can't even give out a phone number. I can't give out an email address. Every time I've given out my email address, I immediately get thousands of spam that say, fuck you, I'm going to kill you, I love meat, today I murdered a chicken. Like, it's just on and on and on. Like, society is evil. There are very many mean people there. So I have no email address that I give out. I don't give out my phone number anymore because they doxed that. My email address, they posted everywhere. So I mean,
it's evil. Like,
it's so much evil. I mean, they've told so many lies about me, that I've murdered somebody. That's not true. That my dog is dying. That's not true. They said that there was a video going around of some crazy woman who kind of looks like me from the back, who was like smearing feces all over, like poop all over a wall in a restaurant. People are saying that's me. It's not. It's another woman who's supposedly eating burgers at McDonald's, and they're saying they saw me eating burgers at McDonald's. Like, no. I mean, anyway, yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that a link to Ellie's channel, Vegan Gaze, is going to be in the description. So you should definitely follow her. Follow her.
For the meme. Do it for the meme. Go on. Someone said thoughts on Daz games, and I actually have some thoughts on him because he made some videos about you, and they were actually just ridiculous. Okay, I know there's some Daz games fanboys in here. Okay, and I'm gonna hurt your feelings. I'm sorry. Okay, like, he's funny and everything, but his arguments against veganism are absolutely ridiculous. He said something like, oh, artificial insemination. Like he tried to re-explain what actually happens.
He doesn't know. He's completely uneducated.
He doesn't know, and he tried to make out like it was okay. Like, I'm sorry, change the species of animals, and that's referred to as bestiality.
It's absolutely, it's disgraceful, because he has 6 million followers and most of them are about 13 years old. And he recently contacted me in Instagram and he invited me to go to England to debate with him. And I said, yes. And I put out a post, yes. And now he's starting to write me back, because I said to him, look, I want you to watch these important documentaries before we have a live debate in England in front of a studio audience. I said, I want you to watch Cowspiracy, Seaspiracy, Dominion Movement, Earthlings, Forks Over Knives, The Game Changers. I said, you have about 10 hours of documentaries to watch before I debate you, because otherwise you're going to look like a fool. You have to be educated. So I suspect what's happened is that he started to watch a little bit of one, because suddenly he's writing me back and saying, actually, I don't think that I'm going to debate you because I don't think you can handle it. Are you like, I'm like, I wrote him back. I said, oh, I think I'm fine. I'll be able to handle it. I'll see you in August in England. Then he writes back, well, no, because I just think your emotional state won't be able to handle it. It's like,
sure. No, I totally get this, because I am a bit of a cringe, like, debate me bro, in the sense that I invite people to come voice debate me. I want to individually find out what their argument is and why, and go through it with them. And especially on TikTok, people yam against me. Oh, don't you know, they want to educate me so bad, and they tell us that we're damaging and we're misinforming. But then you're like, you want to debate this then? Nothing. Still nobody from TikTok has had a voice debate with me. I struggle to find someone who will. Happy for any in the chat, by the way, to come, and you can have a voice debate if you would like about animal rights. Shameless plug. But nobody wants to talk about it, and it's because they, bless them, we've got the easy job of being don't hurt animals. That's really easy, because from infancy we were kind of taught, oh, don't be mean to animals. They've got the hard job of justifying bolt gunning, exploiting, gassing animals, mutilating them, taking their babies away from them. That's hard. Okay, I'll give it to you. But if anyone thinks you can do it, it's all talk. It really is.
So here's one.
Even though people disagree with others, they shouldn't be so mean. We can have differing opinions with people and still get along. I guess some people really just don't care about feelings. Now, I get this in theory. Differing opinions is really important. However, I don't know if you fully even believe this yourself. I'm pretty sure, say for example, I'll bring it personalized, right? And I know how some of you feel about Miss Katie with homophobia. I'm a lesbian, okay? Now, it's fair enough if someone wants to have an opinion that I'm disgusting for being a lesbian. A lot of people do, all right? But that tells me something about how they may vote. That tells me something about what they would maybe wish of me and want to do to me if they could get away with it. An opinion, it holds a lot about a person, and whether or not, some opinions are bad. And I get the need to voice it, but I don't think that you fully follow this through yourself. I'm not sure. And that's the same when it comes to, people's opinion that, oh, their life is worth less than my momentary sensory pleasure of enjoying a taste of something. It's well, okay, good for you. Nice opinion. But that's a dangerous one, because that entails the commodification and exploitation and killing of animals. So that's the problem that I have with it personally.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me see. What about this? Oh, that's another one. I'm trying to sometimes hover on some that look long, but then they go, I'm sorry, everybody. I would love to address everything.
This is a good one, though.
Religion, no.
You don't have to leave your religion. No religion I know of mandates eating the body parts or fluids of animals. And yeah, you ask people, okay, where in the Bible does it say that you must exploit and kill animals? I'd love to find it. And even so, if it did, there are some really nasty things in the Bible that people don't follow. People cherry pick the bits that they like.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Which is what they should do.
Yeah.
When they get to any part of any religion where you think it tells you to hurt a human or an animal, yeah, just cherry pick that and throw that part out. Keep only the good stuff of your religion. And that was another thing that they really didn't like on TikTok, is people were saying, my religion tells me that I must eat and hurt animals. And rather than going through their religion and going through all the passages, I just said, look, I don't care what your religion is. If your religion is telling you to hurt animals, change religions. Simple as that. Like, so like, oh, I can't change my religion. I'm like, why? Just change it. Change it for 5 minutes until you're over this phase. Like if it tells you you have to eat a turkey at whatever, or whatever you think, if you have to circumcise a baby boy, no, just change religions and go to another religion for a while, and then come back to your religion and do all the fun stuff about your religion, the stuff that's beautiful, all the amazing traditions. Do that.
Yeah, it's like almost as if, you don't have to just take everything from your Bible or from the Quran. Like nobody does. Like nobody picks every single thing. So it's like, fine, just I see these things because I'm agnostic. I don't believe that we can actually I don't think we can possess knowledge of something so much bigger than us. But so the way I see it, I see these things as like books of metaphors and stories and that have the conclusions that we should take from them, and what's the moral of the story? I should know these things. But, I think we should just take from these lessons, and you shouldn't just like find me the passage, and then we'll entertain it. Otherwise, it's just nonsense.
Yeah. Here's another one.
Can we allow others to find their vegan self instead of trying to preach to them, which makes them push their vegan self away? Jonathan, you'd need evidence that it absolutely would just push their vegan self away. I can understand people get defensive. However, how are they going to find it in a society that just normalizes the opposite? How are they going to find it without people pushing it, without documentaries being made, without people like, myself or that vegan teacher, like yelling at you? Like we're yapping away, and then that ends up causing discourse. That's needed. So, and the thing is, we do allow others to find their vegan self. People say, you're forcing me. Find where we forced you. Like, I invite you. Like, how long have you been forcibly vegan? Yeah. So it's like, you are being allowed to find yourself. Okay. You are being allowed. No one's forcing you to do anything. Okay. This is the internet.
They're referring to this idea. Why I went on TikTok was to disrupt TikTok, because I read about the science of social change, and that in order to get people to change in a society as much and as quickly as possible is to create a big shitstorm, say stuff really loud and say it in all different ways and get a lot of attention on yourself so that people will listen to your message. I never wanted to become famous. I just wanted people to become vegan. And because I think I was on TikTok, this gray-haired 56-year-old lady, and they were just like, okay, what in the heck is she doing here? People just started following. I mean, I remember one day I got 30,000 followers in one day. So, this is how it happened. It didn't happen from me just saying, staying on in my little Facebook group, spinning around and talking to vegans. It came from me, pushing myself out there, my message. And that's why I tell everybody to, do your thing, whatever it is. You sing vegan stuff. You like to dance? Go and dance, but wear vegan shirts like this that say plants don't feel pain. Do dances on TikTok. Wear vegan clothing every time you're on TikTok, because just this is a subtle message. It takes 100 clicks until you become vegan. It has to hit your head and your heart. It has to penetrate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not just something that just happens. Someone said, Edith Dider, just wondering, how do you feel that some animals wouldn't exist if people didn't eat them? Now, this is a good question. I do understand this, right? A lot of the time people feel the need to, I've had arguments, I don't know about you, about like, but I want cows to like continue existing and, commodifying them and everything so that I can still see them in farms, in like fields and stuff. And it's like, you're projecting too much of your wishes onto others. And this is why like the veganism is so like important, okay, because it's getting back to the roots of assigning and appreciating the value of someone else's own autonomy and existence. A lot of the time we care about animals and it's like, oh, I love my dog because they sit for me or they make me happy, I love them. And we say love in the wrong way. I think we say love in the case of like, what someone can do for me. And we do this with humans as well. And this is why this is so important. We need to come away from this, that absent of our presence in that person's life or their relationship to us, they are still existing. They are still valuable. And we need to appreciate that. We can't keep projecting, but I've, you know, like, yes, I'd be sad to not see certain cows or certain breeds. I'm sure there'd be sanctuaries that they exist today. You know, they probably, you know, would be for a long time, because there'd still be animals, you know, potentially breeding who needed looking after. But we can't project our wishes onto someone
And again,
else.
that's something that's not here now. It's not a problem now.
Yeah.
We're not, you know, people come up with these ideas and they focus on the future. What are we going to do if we never see a cow in 50 years? It's going to be so sad. Well, how about talk about the cow that's dead in your supermarket right now?
Yeah, that's
we'll worry
sad.
we'll worry about these things a little bit later down the line, and it's not going to be a problem. We'll figure it out.
Exactly.
Listen, Ellie, we're going to sum this up pretty soon, but we're going to do maybe 1 or 2 more.
Okay.
Because I noticed it's been an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh.
By the way, before I go on, I'm going to be doing a live tonight, my time, Montreal time, at 8 o'clock, that's Eastern time, with That Vegan Lawyer. She is from Australia. So tune in for that. That Vegan Lawyer, she's going to be. We're going to have some interesting talks with her, because she actually is somebody who politically leans on the right. So
I think
meaning more conservative. And so that's going to be interesting, because typically most vegans are left leaning. So we're going to have some fun. So joining tonight at 8 for that.
So That Vegan Teacher, how do I preach veganism to non-vegans that are not listening to me? What will make them listen? Do you want to answer that, or should I just...
You go ahead.
Okay. So maybe implement a method. Like, what I do is I like memes. You know, we all know memes. I like just like joking around and having a good time while normalizing, you know, animal rights. I think there's a way to do it. Like, people, you might think people aren't listening because they tell you they're not, or they're acting like they're not, but they're hearing it. They are hearing it, like, no matter what. There's this thing called the sleeper effect. There's this vegan psychologist called Dr. Michelle Lowe. And she talks about the sleeper effect, how even when people seem like they're shut off, they're not listening. They absolutely are. They take in the information. So you just keep going. Like, maybe relax it a little bit and be more yourself, and people will open up to you. But don't underestimate the fact that you are not, you are indeed being listened to.
Mm-hmm. So tips on being vegan is just keep watching both of our channels. My channel and Vegan Gaze, because we've gone over already a lot of different tips, but just stick with us. Hang on, because we don't know if you mean regarding the animals, but basically the main tip is keep your eye on the animals and think about them being victims. That's how you stay vegan. The rest of it, recipes, all of that, you can find.
Be kind, go vegan. Agreed. I agree with this one.
We agree.
Vegan bacon.
Vegan bacon is good. We agree. Vegan bacon is great. Get the vegan version of everything and stop hurting animals.
Agree. Yes, Louis, great a better world and a better you by living vegan. And yeah, I think you can become a better version of yourself if you start considering others in all these different ways. There are many different ways to become a better person. So,
all right. So on that note, maybe we should say goodbye, and I hope to do another one of these with you sometime if you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be good. Like, just people in the chat, they clearly are a bit misguided, so it would be great, to have these discussions with them.
Yeah, we are really appreciative of everybody who showed up, even if you're not vegan, especially if you're not vegan and you just even watched 5 minutes. It's just one more click that's going to help you to become vegan, and we know that you probably don't like us because you think that we're forcing you, but really, we're not forcing you. We're just here trying to talk to you and trying to help to open up your hearts. And we're gonna let's let our pigs say goodbye to each other. I just realized that Ellie's pig makes noise too, like ours. Look.
I swear, it's not a play. I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody put these on my front lawn and wanted
me to be vegan. You have to have one of these. Like,
yeah,
it's actually a rule.
It's a rule.
Yeah.
Sorry, if you don't have one of these.
Do any of you have? No, you're not vegan, I'm afraid. Sorry about that.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Ellie.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And thank you for everyone in the chat for asking questions. Salads.
Thank you, moderators, for helping everybody. Thank you for the super chats. And we'll see you. I'll see you tonight, hopefully at 8 o'clock tonight, Canadian time, Montreal time. And maybe you'll be asleep by then, I guess. Ellie, it'll probably be 1 in the morning for you. But
oh, hopefully I'll be asleep by then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if you can't sleep at 1 in the morning, you know what to do. Find me. Bye.
Bye.